Beginner Guide to Prompt Engineering. Imagine standing at the edge of a digital frontier where your words are the only tools you need to build entire worlds or solve complex problems in a matter of seconds. We're currently living through a period of technological transformation that is as significant as the invention of the printing press or the birth of the internet. For the first time in human history, we are communicating with machines using natural language instead of rigid lines of code. This shift has given rise to a new and essential skill known as prompt engineering, which is the art and science of communicating effectively with large language models. While some might view this as a temporary trend, the reality is that prompt engineering is becoming the primary interface for our interaction with the digital world. To understand how to master this craft, we must first dive deep into the mechanics of how these artificial brains actually function. These models are not giant databases of facts that they look up when you ask a question. Instead, they are sophisticated prediction engines that have been trained on nearly the entire sum of human knowledge written down in digital form. When you provide a prompt, the model is essentially calculating the most probable next sequence of words based on the context you have provided. This means that every single word you choose acts as a directional signal that guides the model through a vast, multi-dimensional map of information. The journey of a prompt engineer begins with a fundamental change in perspective regarding how we view computers. In the past, computers were deterministic tools that would provide the same output for a given input every single time. Modern generative artificial intelligence is probabilistic, meaning it can be creative, unpredictable, and sometimes even surprisingly insightful. This inherent randomness is controlled by parameters like temperature and top P, which determine how much risk the model takes when selecting the next word. A master of prompts understands that they are not just giving orders, but are instead setting the boundaries for a collaborative, creative process. The first core principle of high-level prompting is the concept of persona and role assignment. By telling the model that it is a world-class software architect or a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, you are narrowing the statistical space it draws from to provide an answer. This simple instruction shifts the tone, the vocabulary, and the depth of the response to align with the specific expertise you require. It is much like inviting a specific expert into the room to help you with a task, rather than just asking a random passerby on the street. Context is the second pillar of effective prompt engineering, and it is often where beginners struggle the most. A model can only be as helpful as the information it has available to process. If you ask a question that is too broad, you will receive a generic and unhelpful answer. However, if you provide rich background information, specific goals, and clear constraints, the model can tailor its logic to your exact needs. This includes explaining who the intended audience is, what the desired format should be, and what specific elements must be included or excluded. You should think of the prompt as a comprehensive project brief that you would give to a highly intelligent but extremely literal assistant. The more detail you provide about the environment and the desired outcome, the less likely the model is to hallucinate or provide irrelevant information. We must also consider the structure of the prompt itself, which should follow a logical flow that the model can easily parse. The third essential component of a perfect prompt is the task description, which must be clear and actionable. Instead of saying that you want the model to write something about artificial intelligence, you should specify that you want a 5-paragraph analytical essay focusing on the impact of neural networks on modern medicine. You should use strong verbs and define the steps the model needs to take to reach the conclusion. One of the most powerful techniques in the arsenal of a prompt engineer is known as chain of thought prompting. This involves asking the model to think step by step before arriving at a final answer. By forcing the artificial intelligence to articulate its internal logic, you significantly increase the accuracy of the output, especially for complex reasoning tasks or mathematical problems. This technique effectively allows the model to use its own generated text as a working memory to build toward a more coherent and logical conclusion. Another advanced strategy that separates the novices from the professionals is few-shot prompting. While zero-shot prompting involves asking a question with no examples, Few-shot prompting provides the model with several examples of the desired input and output format. This acts as a powerful guide for the model to follow the pattern you have established. If you want the model to categorize customer feedback into specific emotional categories, providing 3 or 4 examples of how to do it correctly will yield much better results than simply describing the task. This pattern recognition is one of the strongest capabilities of large language models, and leveraging it can transform a mediocre output into a professional-grade result. We are also seeing the rise of multimodal prompting, where we combine text with images or data files to create a more holistic interaction. The ability to upload a complex spreadsheet and ask the model to identify trends or anomalies is a game changer for data analysis and business intelligence. As we look toward the future of this discipline in 2026 and beyond, we must recognize that prompt engineering is an iterative process. You will rarely get the perfect result on your first attempt. The true skill lies in analyzing the output, identifying where the model misunderstood your intent, and refining the prompt to be more precise. This feedback loop is how we fine-tune the interaction between human creativity and machine efficiency. We must also be aware of the ethical considerations and the potential for bias in these models. Because they are trained on human data, they can reflect human prejudices and inaccuracies. A responsible prompt engineer knows how to implement guardrails and check for factual consistency to ensure the information generated is both accurate and fair. This involves cross-referencing important facts and being skeptical of information that seems too good to be true. The evolution of these tools is happening at an exponential rate, and what was impossible 6 months ago is now a standard feature. We are moving toward a world where agents can perform complex sequences of tasks autonomously based on a single high-level prompt. This means that the role of the human is shifting from a laborer to a conductor who oversees a symphony of digital entities. To stay relevant in this rapidly changing landscape, one must maintain a mindset of constant curiosity and experimentation. There is no single correct way to write a prompt, but there are principles that consistently lead to better outcomes. You should treat every interaction as an opportunity to learn more about the underlying logic of the machine. The boundaries of what can be achieved are limited only by our ability to articulate our thoughts and our willingness to explore the unknown. In conclusion, prompt engineering is far more than just a technical skill for the elite few. It is a fundamental literacy for the 21st century that empowers individuals to leverage the most powerful technology ever created. By mastering the art of the persona, the depth of context, the clarity of the task, and the logic of the chain of thought, you are unlocking a level of productivity and creativity that was previously unimaginable. We are no longer just users of technology, but are now the architects of its intelligence. The future belongs to those who can speak the language of the machines while maintaining the vision and the ethics of humanity. As we continue to push the limits of what is possible, remember that the most important part of any prompt is the human intent behind it. Your ideas are the spark, and the artificial intelligence is the engine that brings them to life. Continue to refine your voice, experiment with new techniques, and never stop questioning the world around you as you navigate this incredible digital age.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell.